So I tint my own eyebrows. I used to go to a salon to get them done quite frequently. I'm very, very fair and my eyebrows are invisible basically, naturally. So I like to just give them a little bit of a tint to just enhances your face. It just means that you can, you know, you can do expressions. I feel like without my eyebrows visible, it just kind of, I don't know, I just prefer it with a little bit on my eyebrows. But being as I am not wearing much makeup kind of a person, I don't want to kind of have something too drastic done to my eyebrows where they're just too prominent, because obviously with me still being fair, I don't want them to stand out too much. So I buy a medium tint eyebrow tint from Amazon, and I'll link that in the description below which one I've been getting recently. So I'm just going to show you how I do it. So this is the current one that I'm using, and it is a make called Godefroy, and it's instant eyebrow tint, and it's in the medium brown. Can't remember how many of these little things you get in a box, but you get a few, and you're supposed to kind of use one of those with a little bit of this developer stuff and mix it together. But I actually don't use the whole container because I don't need that much tint putting on my brows. I only use a tiny bit of the powder that's in there, so it's gone such a long way. I've literally had this for months and months and months. So yeah, that's just a little tip. If you don't want to use a whole one of these capsules, you don't have to. Jim was very confused one day when he came into the bathroom and found this miniature, what he called whiskey glass, in the bathroom, wondering what I was doing with a miniature whiskey glass. But this is actually just something I bought from eBay, and it's just a little container to mix the stuff in. I'm not sure if it comes with a little plastic pot in this one anyway, but I didn't know if it did, so I bought myself this anyway. Just helps to have something to mix it in. I also bought this from Amazon. It's literally just for eyelash tinting. Well, yeah, it's an eyelash tinting brush, but I use it for eyebrow tinting. I guess you can use it for either. I just find it's a really good brush to apply the product with, nice and small. I also have this very, very tiny little, like mascara brush, but it's just a little brush, which means I can brush my eyebrows into shape. I guess you could just use an old mascara brush or something if you didn't know where to find one of these. I can't remember where it came from. I just have one. I suggest you also have to hand a little cotton wool pad and wet it a little bit so that you can wipe it off after a certain amount of time. Now, I'm no expert at this, so you're supposed to leave it for a certain amount of time so that it, you know, does a certain strength in colour. Yeah, so I just make it up as I go along, really. I don't really time it, I just completely guess. Completely and utterly guess. So first of all, I kind of brush them into the shape that I want. I say my eyebrows are invisible naturally. They really are. These have still got some tint on them, so I've not let them fade completely, because the problem is if I let them fade too much, I find that it's very, very hard to find the shape. They're so fair that I don't really need to pluck them or do anything. Sometimes I'll pluck the odd one from here just to neaten it up, but they're so fair you can't even see them unless you look really, really closely. So I just kind of, if I leave them too long and they kind of start losing their shape, I do need to go and get them kind of shaped a little bit by an expert, because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to that. And when I try and make it the shape of my own, it's quite difficult. Okay, I'll apply to this one first. So I like with this one, I kind of feel like it drops down a little bit, so I kind of like to try and shape it so it's a little bit more coloured at the top. So the tint kind of does colour your skin slightly, especially when I used to go and get it tinted professionally. I feel like it, I don't know, sometimes it went on my skin a little bit more than I kind of wanted it to. Obviously with me kind of, I just want it to look so natural. That's what I'm after. So it's quite difficult because a lot of people want their eyebrows to be much more defined, and I think that's what people are used to doing. So when it comes to me and I'm just like, I really don't want it too bold, it's just different. Okay, So I'll leave that while I do the other one. So I try my best not to press too hard and mostly just try and get it on the actual hairs. But it does colour a little bit of the skin, which is fine, as long as you keep it neat. This eyebrow seems to be much better shape than the other one. I find it doesn't lose its shape as easily. I was scared at first of doing this, and then once you've done it a couple of times, it's fine. It can't really go too long, too wrong, and it doesn't last a long time. Like, it says 6 weeks on the box, but because I don't leave it on for too long and I don't put too much on and too much of the product. Oh yeah, sometimes I do this as well. I just kind of go the opposite direction. Makes your eyebrows look a little bit crazy, but it helps to colour them. We're done? No, we're not done. So I've got my wet little cotton pad, and I'm literally just going to wipe that one now because I feel like that's been on quite some time. And wipe the other one. And then basically, I just do it again. So that gives me the kind of first initial, just wipe it with a dry one, the first initial shape and colour. And then now, if I brush that into shape again, I just go over it a second time to kind of make it work even more. I don't know whether you can see how they look at the moment. I've got literally the opposite problem to what most people have. I'm sorry if this isn't the best camera angle, this is the best I can do, I'm afraid. I really don't like that shape of that one, I just wish it would go, up more. At this point. Maybe I'll just go higher than what it looks like the hairs go. Something like that. As I said, I'm no expert, I just make this up. This one's so much easier, it just has the shape. Don't have to like guess. Over the course of the day, they'll develop a little bit more than what they look like they are now. So they might look super dark right now, but later on they should develop a bit more. So you've got to be careful how much you initially put on, because if you go a bit crazy and then later on they might go a little bit darker. So yeah, that might not look like a huge amount of difference, but I think it tints them just enough for me, really. Just enough for what I want to make them look natural. And then this is the product I usually use. So normally, I've done a little bit of makeup this morning, so normally I would have put this on if I wasn't tinting my eyebrows, just to kind of define them a little bit. So this stuff is just brilliant. I used to use a pencil, and then I just go with this stuff, and it's so much better. It's just so much easier to get a shape of an eyebrow without like looking like a line. Anyway, there we go. I'll show you a little bit later on, see whether they've developed a little bit more. I feel like I wasn't in the best lighting then to show you them, but have a little look at what those look like now. I think that's okay. Yeah, obviously it's very difficult when you're ginger to get the same colour as your hair, because it's just not going to happen, really. So you kind of don't really have that option when it comes to eyebrow tints. You've just got to go for a light brown or a medium brown. I like the medium brown. I just feel like it gives me that depth that they need without leaving on for too long.